Good morning, friends. I'm going to bring you along on a what I eat in a day video today. What I eat in a day after the egg fast. I just finished the egg fast yesterday and I'm looking forward to eating something that's not eggs today, specifically beef. I've been really craving steak and just beef in general. Feel like I really need to get my protein in because I was on the lower end of protein through the egg fast because I just can't eat more than like 8 eggs in a day usually. I didn't count up how many eggs I ate each day, but I think it was somewhere around 8. So I really need to get the protein. I was really feeling it yesterday, just the lack of protein for too many days in a row. So I am going to be focusing on that. I can tell you right now, I am not hungry at all. I actually don't want to eat. I am really glad that I didn't have to eat an egg within 30 minutes of waking up like I have been the last 3 days. That was nice. I did drink my coffee, just like always, with the MCT oil powder. We are headed out in just a little while to go to our homeschool group hike for the week. So I think I'm probably going to need to eat something before that, maybe like in the car on the way, but it'll depend on how I feel because right now I really don't feel like eating. And I am a big believer in eating when you're hungry and not forcing yourself to eat when you are not hungry. So I'm not going to force myself to eat if I'm not hungry, but I will be prepared with food in case I end up getting hungry while we're out. Also, if I feel like it, I may stop and get one of my absolute favorite treats when I'm out, which is a breve latte from whatever coffee shop we happen to be around. I'm curious to see what that will do to my ketones. That was a dog running into my door. Right now, my ketones are running about as high as they have through the entire challenge. I saw last night, yesterday evening, my ketones just jumped up and they stayed up. I've had a lot of points, or several points during this challenge where the ketones will go up, to like 1.4, 1.5, and then they kind of just come back down. And it's like this little hump on the graph. Last night, they went up to that 1.5, I think. And then they just kind of went up and down right in that range, like for the rest of the evening and for part of the night. And then this morning, I saw them go all the way up to 1.5 again. And they've been staying in like a higher range than I have seen yet. So that was really interesting to see. And it will also be interesting to watch my ketones as I eat regularly today and see if it will completely tank my ketones. I do expect my ketones to go down when I eat, a lot more food plus a lot more protein. But like I've talked about before, I see a lot of benefit in keeping protein levels higher, definitely with how I feel last night and, part of the day yesterday. I was feeling not very good, both physically, just feeling kind of weak and run down, as well as like mentally just having trouble keeping my attitude in check. And so I think keeping the protein higher really, really helps me with that kind of a thing. So I know that high ketone levels do enhance brain function, and I have definitely felt that. But I also get some negatives when I push myself to be in the higher levels of ketosis, because in order to get there, I have to reduce my protein, and that makes me feel bad in other ways. So it's really a balance between what benefits I want at different times. And then also I'm like trying to figure out that's the dog, trying to figure out how to cycle eating styles in order to get the most benefit from all of the different keto tools that we have. I'm a big believer in not just having to pick one. I see all these different eating styles as tools, and I want to just have a full toolbox of all the different options and then figure out how to put them together and use them in a way that's going to enhance my health as much as I can. So anyways, that's what all of this experimentation is about. So anyways, I will bring you along on what I eat today. I don't have any idea what it's going to be, except that it's going to involve beef. It will probably also involve a keto chow. And that's all I got. I'll just bring you along. I'm going to go ahead and get my electrolytes all mixed up before we head out. I will do orange salt today. So we're getting ready to take off, and I decided to go ahead and mix up myself a keto chow so that I could just drink it on the way. I decided to do raspberry cheesecake, and like I said, I'm focusing on protein, so I added a half a scoop of the Prime Protein vanilla, and that bumped the protein up above 30 grams, which I'm going to try to get above 30 grams of protein per meal today. Now, I know that getting like both keto chow and prime protein is not in everybody's budget. And so I wanted to mention that if you do want to add more protein to like your keto chow shake, there are other cheaper ways to do it. You can throw in eggs. You can just throw in some eggs, which I did not feel like doing this morning after the egg fast. But you could also throw in like egg white powder if that's something you have, or any kind of protein powder, like a whey protein that you happen to have, whatever, fits in your budget. There are cheaper ways to do it. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. I also forgot to mention that I used 1.5 ounces of butter as the fat in my keto chow today. So my keto chow is absolutely delicious, but with that extra protein, it made such an incredibly thick texture. It's almost like soft serve. It's really hard to suck through this little straw. That's my only complaint, but it is really good. You ready? Yeah. Ready for the hike? So warm.
I'd love to hold him for a few minutes.
He is so cute. He's so tiny.
I want to wear this hiking. Oh my god,
He's so cute. Look at this tree. That is amazing. Salmon berries. That is crazy. We are home from our hike and running errands. We had to run and pick up a book from the library, go to the grocery store for a few things. But we are back now, and it is 2:30 p.m. So let me turn this around. So I drank about half of that keto chow I showed you in the car on the way there at about 9:30. And then it was so thick, I literally could not drink it fast enough to finish it on the 20-minute car ride to the hike. So I left it in the car, and thankfully that tumbler from Element, the Yeti, keeps things cold. So it kept it cold so that after the hike, I was able to drink the rest, and that was at about 12:15. And I also at that point ate a jalapeno beef chomp stick that I had brought with me. So that was, I kind of had half the keto chow for breakfast and then half the keto chow plus a chomp stick for lunch, but that wasn't quite enough to really be a full breakfast and lunch. And so now at 2:30, I'm ready for an actual meal. And I had these chicken tenders in the fridge that really needed to be cooked. I found that I was still like pulling stuff out of the freezer at a normal rate, like usual, but then I was doing the sardine fast and the egg fast, and so I didn't end up cooking everything as fast as usual. So I ended up with an abundance of defrosted things that needed to be cooked fast. So anyways, this is one of them, and I know that these will get eaten up super fast if I make them into chicken strips. So I am going to use my protein breading. If you have not seen this recipe, it is 100% carnivore ingredients, and it is the closest chicken strip that I have found to a real panko breaded chicken strip. And I try really hard not to overhype my recipes and say something tastes exactly like the real thing if I don't truly 100% believe that. And this breading is one of the ones where I say it could contend next to an actual chicken strip. So anyways, this is a great recipe, and it's super simple. Only 3 base ingredients plus any spices you want to add. So it starts with pork rinds, and these are the Italian style from Pork King Good. I got one of their sampler packs a while ago, and so I was working through all the flavors, and I have Italian on my shelf, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And then there's some beef gelatin and some egg white powder, and that's it. This, of course, has the seasoning in it. If you had unseasoned pork rinds, you could just add whatever seasoning you like. There's all kinds of yummy options. So I needed to refill my breading. This isn't going to be enough to bread all of these. I'm going to toss these in just an egg, beaten egg, and then bread them in the protein breading. And I think I'll just go ahead and air fry them because it's easier. They do taste the absolute best when you fry them in bacon grease in a pan, but I think I'm going to take the little bit easier route and just do the air fryer, which is also really good. I am gonna make some lazy ranch dip by mixing some butter mayo, some sour cream, and some pork king good ranch seasoning. I think I'll do just about an ounce of each. I'll give a good sprinkle of the ranch. That's probably good. Probably a couple teaspoons, I guess. That smells really good. That looks amazing. I am going to splurge on some carbs. I'm gonna have some blueberries and some strawberries. Just picked these up at the store today, and the kids were saying they were good, so I'm gonna try some. Do a couple ounces of each, I guess. Okay, those look tasty. I am actually quite hungry, so I am going to chow down on this and then see how I feel, and I will get more if I need to get more. I'm having an afternoon cup of coffee. I decided to splurge and have heavy cream in it. I haven't had heavy cream in coffee for a little while, so this is a special treat. I never ended up getting a breve latte earlier when I was out like I thought I might. I just never felt like it, which is crazy. So decided to try the heavy cream instead. It's almost 8 p.m. and I really have not been hungry, and I had every intention to have some beef today, to have some steak or something, and I did pull out some steak from the freezer, but it was not getting defrosted in time, and it just wasn't really hungry enough to cook it. But I do know I need a little bit more after, being lower calorie for the last 3 days on the egg fast. I'm really trying to keep my protein up. So I am going to eat, and I do go back and forth between, kind of forcing yourself to eat when you're really not that hungry, if you know that your calories are on the lower end, and just listening to hunger, and maybe this is a day that your body just doesn't need as many calories. So I do go back and forth on that, but considering I just came off the egg fast and I was eating pretty low calorie through the egg fast, like 14 to 1600 calories per day, I am going to go ahead and eat something here before, I end my eating window for the night. Not that I really have an eating window, but before I stop eating for the evening. So since I wasn't really motivated to cook much, I just grabbed 2 more of those chicken strips that I made earlier, and I coated them in some sticky buffalo sauce that I had left over in the fridge from sticky buffalo wings, which I have a recipe video for, and I highly recommend them. They're mine and my husband's absolute favorite way to make buffalo wings, like doing them the sweet sticky way, just delicious. So I just coated them in the sweet sticky buffalo sauce and threw them in the air fryer to heat them up, and that got them a little bit crispy. And then I just have half a cup of cottage cheese, and I'm going to eat this, and that is going to be it for the night. Here's how my calories and macros broke down for the day. I got 1,730 calories. I got 170.2 grams of protein, so definitely hit my goal of being on the higher side of protein today. That was 39% of my calories. Then I got 100 grams of fat. That was 52.1% of my calories. And then I got 38.7 total carbs, or 27.1 net carbs, and that was 8.9% of my calories for the day. I wasn't on top of adding all of my meals into NutriSense for the day. I also forgot to scan my CGM right before I went to bed, so I have that gap there in my data. So I really wasn't on top of the blood sugar thing, but you can see I still got a daily average of 87. Even with that missing data, I think that's probably pretty accurate, and you can see my average going up just a little bit from the egg fast, where it like stepped down every single day. It's just really fascinating to watch that average move around depending on what I eat. Then here's a screenshot of my ketones for the whole day. You can see they stayed up real high, all the way up to 1.5 throughout the day. Drinking that shake in the morning did not lower my ketones. I really didn't see a big dip in ketones until after dinner, definitely after, splurging on the berries, and then after eating 170 grams of protein in the day, it is to be expected that the ketones are going to go down a little bit. And they definitely did. So you can see right there at the end of the day, they dipped down and then they kind of stayed in that same range overnight.